Hey, happy Monday, Jordan.
Happy Monday to you.
Man, um, so I have no idea. Like last week was a blur.
Well, last week was a blur because it was kind of busy. Now, the one
Yeah.
thing I think that we could start to talk about, if you want to, is how much the week was front loaded with a whole bunch of tasks that we then were able to kind of shift out.
Oh
It's
yeah.
kind of one of those organizational things that
Yeah.
I think is going to work to our benefit if we can just start to keep everything lined out so that we know what we're doing.
Yeah. And I think a lot of that came down to the fact that we had some tasks that kind of I don't want to say they got overlooked, but it was more like they were tasks that we didn't feel like were as high of a priority. And
Right.
so they just kept getting like
Pushed
kind
back,
of
pushed back, pushed back. And it's like,
So
okay, now we got to knock them all out.
yeah.
Mhm.
So it was like, all right, that's it. We're taking care of all these.
Right.
Which honestly caught us up quite a bit
It did.
to the point to where I'm not going to talk a lot about it, but I'm looking forward to what we get to do this week. It should be a really good week, a good building week, based off of something I said a few weeks ago about maybe the perspective and outlook of ArkVyd as a customer.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
more to come on that.
Right. Just not this week, though.
Right.
So I'm glad that we told you that we're not talking about it.
Yeah.
So this makes for interesting.
Yeah. We'll just like
content.
beep that out almost like it's curse words.
Gotcha. So, just like
Yeah.
in yeah.
I don't know if that was
I can't mouth it and also beep it. It's
yeah. It's excellent.
why
That's
don't we have a
excellent.
little on our board? We could do just a quick
We could.
sound thing where
Yeah. We
say
need
something.
we need like foot pedals to do that with.
Oh, sure.
So
Yeah.
no one
So
notices.
that exactly. So it's super subtle, just like our teleprompter. Teleprompter? Yeah. No, I
Yeah,
spelled
that's
it
what
right.
it says. Teleprompter. Yeah. So last week, we talked a little bit during the podcast or the Monday morning update
Update.
that there was a client that we were discussing either congratulations or you know what, you did your best.
Mm-hmm.
And so we did get an extension on that, which is a good thing.
That's yeah.
Yeah, the contract is extended, so
Mhm.
wonderful there.
Yep.
Means that they seem to be happy, very happy. They, be a discussion.
I think it's kind of funny too, though, that we always have a hard time reading how the conversation is going to go. It's always
Yeah.
like, oh boy, because we have a tendency to just assume the worst. Like,
Yeah.
well, great, then they probably are going to say that, hey, I'm coming to kill you and your whole family, and it's like that seems
A little excessive.
that seems likely. That's probably what's going to happen.
Yep.
And then it turns out they call and they're just over the moon with everything, and like, okay, so let's find the next step forward. And you go, oh, that's what they wanted.
Yeah. And
Oh.
want to potentially add services.
Yes. And
So that's a good thing.
Mhm.
But I think it's probably healthy. Not that you want to be pessimistic. I wouldn't even call it pessimistic. I would call it a healthy skepticism because
Yeah.
you don't want to have this outlook like everything's always going to be
Mhm.
rosy, and then you're not forecasting your financials for the business properly.
True.
Right?
True.
Like, that's good.
Yeah,
I
everything's
got them
good.
locked
It's
in for the
fine.
next 20 years.
I think we also see that, and we've talked about it in the previous updates.
Yeah.
That it's shown in our work as well, where you get to a point in editing and you go, this is just awful. No one's going to
True.
like this. And again, they may just want to come after our families after seeing this, going, I'm so upset here on Instagram that I am going to figure out, I'm going to find where they live, and I'm going to come there, and I'm going to give them a piece of my mind.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. Or extend the contract. What?
Or I'm going to extend a contract with them.
Yeah. We never know.
Yeah.
So,
We should start to assume that we're not bad at this by this
Right.
point.
well, I think we do. We know that. It's just hard to believe. There actually is this past week. You know what? This is a great time to talk about this. I don't think we've talked about this in the past. Imposter syndrome.
Sure.
Yeah. So this past week, I was dealing with some imposter syndrome where it's like no matter how good everyone else seems to say you are to you, sometimes it's hard when you're, paying for a product that you can deliver. And I think there's a lot to this. There's a lot of little facets, but a product you can deliver, and you're like, man, like you're just never happy, right? And we talk about that and we deal with that where it's like, I hate this. This is not good.
Yeah.
But in the eyes of the client,
It's
almost always
yeah.
it's, oh my goodness, this is
Mhm.
amazing. But yet,
It's interesting too, though. I mean, I don't think we've got too much of our egos wrapped up in it to where when we send it to a client and they come back with a, this is great. Could you fix this? It's
Yeah.
always like, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's never so much that it's like they hated it. They
Right.
wanted one change. They hated it. It's never that. It's more that without having that initial reach out, that initial
Yeah.
conversation, it's like, I can't have done this well. Like you said, that's the imposter syndrome. Like
Yeah.
there's no way I could be good at this.
Right.
And
And I
um,
think there's a lot to that, and I think it's important for I think the boy, it's almost like now it's going to sound prideful me talking about this out loud,
mhm,
but the more skilled you get at something, and the easier that skill becomes to accomplish, the easier it is to feel like you don't deserve the rewards from doing it. So
sure.
something that maybe used to take me, let's say, editing a Monday morning update or something that length, something that used to take, I don't know, an hour or 2 hours to
Mhm,
edit, now I can do in 20 minutes. I think we're so used to the time being the relation to how much our worth is
sure.
that sometimes it does feel like, oh, no, I'm not good at this and I'm not worth this.
Right. We're still bringing the same value, just bringing it quicker. And so it's like, oh, well, are we though? Because
Right.
I didn't spend that long on it.
Right.
The danger that you have then is if clients start to see that you can do quick turnarounds and you've got all this, because then they're going to go, well, that seems really easy. So it's
Yeah.
easy for you. And it's not always easy, but as you grow in skills, it
Right.
becomes a little bit more streamlined. The
Yeah.
process does.
Right.
And
Well, there's a lot to be said to that too, and
mhm,
that actually can go quite a ways when it comes to what I was talking about with the imposter syndrome. Is that because so we have almost completely as a company. There are some other circumstances where we still do, but we've almost completely gone away from any sort of hourly
right.
work
Yes.
because our skills have grown to the point to where uh, if you're going hourly and you are getting better at your craft, you're punishing yourself.
Hmm.
The better you get,
Yes.
you're delivering a better product and you're making less money,
Hmm.
right? So you can equate this to almost any type of industry, right? Within reason.
Right.
So let's just start from the not the lowest level, but the base level I can think of, like McDonald's.
Hmm.
You go in and you pay for your meal, whether they bring that out in 2 seconds or 20 minutes, it's going to cost you the same.
Right. Yeah.
You may
The
walk
price doesn't
away
change.
if it takes 20 minutes,
Hmm.
but nothing is going to change the price of that meal,
Hmm.
right? Except for the quality.
Right.
If it comes out cold, they're not going to charge you for it.
Right.
Oil
Well,
change.
hopefully they wouldn't give it to you, but yes, they're not going to charge you for it. But mhm,
Right. Oil change. You pay for an oil change, and some of them are like 30-minute oil change, right? But that aside, it is if they can get 6 oil changes done in an hour and charge the same amount, their business is going to be more
mhm.
profitable. You can't do it on an hourly basis when you get that efficient.
It's true. And at the end of the day, what we do is we make products typically.
Yeah.
Um, and so as we're making those products, this is what the product is worth. And we
Yeah.
determine that based on the quality we feel that we're bringing to the clients. And I guess the
Yeah.
clients also then are in that agreement in
Yeah.
determining that worth. But
Yeah, and there's a lot to be said about all that. But all that to say, the imposter syndrome that I think comes along with the fact that we're getting more efficient and we're able to do a lot of the things, and a lot of our systems have improved quite a
mm,
bit. Mostly because I think I mentioned this last week. Mostly because it went from everything was organized in my brain or on a piece of paper to now we have a team that has to communicate well
right.
together. So everything needs to be properly and well documented, which is a great thing.
Hmm.
It's great to be able to go back and look at a paper trail and go,
Oh,
right,
right. That's where we were.
yeah,
That's the most important thing for collaborative efforts
yes,
is making those notes because far too often it's like, well, they were working on this, I think, but I don't know exactly what they did. So I guess I'm just going to redo some of the work. And then you hear back from them and they're like, oh, no, I did that. I did
yeah,
that yesterday. It's like,
yeah,
well, would have been nice to denote that. And so we're getting a lot better at
yes,
making sure that collaboratively, if someone's not here, or even if they are,
yeah,
letting people know,
yeah,
letting the rest of the team know, this is what I did, this is where we're at because
exactly.
it takes a little bit of time, but if you get in the habit of doing it, it makes the whole process so much easier for everybody.
Yes. So that's been really important is just the efficiency and the process. The communication to me, because it's not just a one man show, has made it to where there's less of an ability to even make mistakes, even
Hmm.
if there's one person.
Hmm.
I think if for some reason it was stripped back and it went down to just me again, like I don't know, something happened, I would still try to use all of these same processes for logging and tracking and everything because it has made it to where I I would not be able to forget,
Right.
which is important.
Yes. Now that you've got the habit there kind of established, you've got the process ready,
Yeah.
it makes the most sense to use it. So for a one-person show, I can understand why someone would say, I don't want to take the time to build these systems, because it did take us a little bit of
Yes.
time early on to say that this is how it's going to work and really talk it all through. But
Yeah.
once you verbalize that too, then it becomes a part of the process going, okay, so are we doing this right? Should we check some of the efficiencies that we've got?
Yeah.
And so we gained a little bit of efficiencies here and there as we were kind of thinking through what it is that we're doing and how we're going to be able to communicate with each other.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And I think there's still room to grow there.
absolutely.
But absolutely, it's been 100%
Mhm.
a boost to the entire business, and seeing where we're at with projects specifically has been great. Um, so past that, uh, what else happened last week? What else did we do really?
Well, here's the interesting thing. We started shooting a fun Friday fun video,
Yeah,
and the weather took a turn.
it
That
sure did.
was that was interesting.
Yeah,
It's funny because we wanted to do an outside portion of the video,
Yeah.
and difficult to do during
Yes.
a heavy thunderstorm
yeah,
that kind of hit the whole area, trees down, all that kind of nonsense.
yep. But we did
Um,
finally get it finished up
We did.
later in the afternoon.
Right. We were able to do it after the storm, and so that's being able to pivot, having the studio here ready to go, all of the gear,
Yeah.
being out in it. It was yeah, that was interesting for sure though.
Yeah,
Getting to go outside in the rain and enter through a door and then go, okay, we need like 8 more for safety, just for safety.
yeah. And so if you guys haven't seen the Fun Friday we're talking about, it actually by this point that this is published would have gone out.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And it's easy to say this every week. It is. This one was fun.
It was fun.
Sometimes though, there's some that I'm like, this one wasn't as fun, and those are the ones that hit really good
Sure.
on social media.
Right. Where you're not as confident with the idea because usually it's because we took a swing. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if this is going to land.
Yeah,
We'll find out. And
Yeah.
then when it does, it feels
boy,
pretty good.
it does.
So wait, what you're saying is because you feel so confident and comfortable with it, it's going to be bad. That's what I'm hearing. Let's wait until you get into the editing.
Yeah.
And then if you
I
love
mean,
it
I
at the
reviewed
end,
it.
then
I reviewed it. I felt pretty good. I had some pretty
Okay.
good chuckles, even though I know the video.
Mhm.
I had some pretty good chuckles.
Okay, that
But-
doesn't bode well. All right.
Oh boy.
Now I've got reverse imposter syndrome where I feel too good about the work I'm doing.
Yeah.
Oh no. That's got me bummed out.
Well, we still have to finish the edit on
We
that
do.
one. We
And other
have
things.
we have plenty of other things to do, which I'm excited to talk about next week.
Yes.
But organizationally speaking, because I looked this morning, we do have a lot of things to accomplish.
Well, what are we waiting
I don't-
around for?
This was one of the things to accomplish. We
Let's-
had to do this.
Okay, let's
No,
do the
no,
outro
no.
then.
We get to do
Right, we
this.
didn't have to. We get to
We
do
get
this.
to do this.
And you get to join us here.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. You do.
Let's do the outro though.
Okay. Do you want to? You want to take the
I
honors?
thought
this
I was
time?
starting into it, and then I was like, no, let's back that one out.
Do you want to do the honors this time?
Hey, we want to thank everyone. If you've made it this far in the video, boy, I'm just mirroring exactly what you said because that's the first thing that came to my mind
Yeah.
is what does Travis usually do? If
Yeah.
you've made it to this point in the video, you're special. We like you. You like us. And if you don't, are you hate watching? Because that's the thing that people do, isn't it? They hate watch
they're
something
like,
like, this is
I'm gonna
so
w-
bad, but I'm going to watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
Either way, keep hate watching. Do what
Yeah.
you got to do because we've enjoyed our time with you and we hope you've enjoyed your time with us.
Yeah.
Just don't forget, you can find us on other social media platforms.
Yes, you can.
Like, subscribe, follow, share. Check out our website, ArkVyd.com.
Yeah.
Check out our new album that's going to be dropping soon.
That's news
Okay,
to me.
wait. I'm trying to figure out all the other things that we have
Yeah.
to plug at the end here, and I
Yeah.
guess the album hasn't even been talked about yet. So
Yeah.
don't
Boy.
check that one out.
Don't check
but
out the album. no.
I
think that's.
thank you so
yeah.
much.
Yeah. Hey guys, thanks.
We love you.
Yeah, we do. Thanks for watching. Thanks, Mom. We'll see you later.
Bye.